Welcome to Fan for Racing Radio. I'm Fan for Racing Sharon, and joining me today is Jay Huseman, and we are here for our St. Louis preview for the NASCAR Cup Series. So, Jay, I've got a feeling you have already checked out the entry list. This is the second of the round of 16 of 3 races.
It is, and it is not WWE and WrestleMania, but it is the WWT Worldwide Technology Raceway. But I do think there could be some action on the track. However, we talk about the entry list. They don't list any notables because there is only the 30 chartered teams, and then 3 from 2311 and 3 from Front Row Motorsports. Still your 36 regulars. So there is only those 36 that are listed for the 40 spots.
Okay, so everybody's going to make it in. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with our notes here for WWT Raceway in St. Louis. They're going to be racing the Enjoy Illinois 300 at Worldwide Technology Raceway. It is a 1.25-mile asphalt oval, and that race will take place on Sunday, September the 7th, starting at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, USA will have some pre-race coverage available starting at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, and radio coverage is available on MRN and SiriusXM Channel 90. They're going to race that distance of 300 miles over 240 laps. First stage is 45 laps. Second stage is going to be 95 laps, ending on lap 140. And then the final stage is going to be 100 laps, ending on lap 240. So where are you going to watch the Cup Series this weekend? Well, starting on Saturday, they will have the practice and Busch Light pole qualifying on True TV, MRN, and SiriusXM starting at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Then the race is on Sunday at that 3 p.m. start time. So a lot to look forward to. Second race, we'll find out who punches their ticket into the next round after this race is over.
And it'll be interesting, as you mentioned, when you're talking about doing the picks, it's not a lot of history here because this weekend only marks the 4th running of a NASCAR Cup Series race at Worldwide Technology Raceway, starting in 2022 and now running through 2025.
Worldwide Technology is a market-leading technology solution provider and is the title track sponsor.
Now, the track is actually located in Madison, Illinois. We were just talking about that. It's 5 miles east of St. Louis.
Okay, and the 2025 season marks the first time that the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs second race has been hosted by Worldwide Technology Raceway.
And WWTR will be the 19th different track to host a playoff race. Each of the previous 3 races at WWTR took place in early June.
And WWTR is the 6th different track to host the second race of the NASCAR Cup Series. They joined Dover, who did that from 2004 to 2010. New Hampshire was the second race from 2011 to 2017. And then Richmond was the second race from 2018 to 2021. Kansas held that spot from 22 to 23, and it was Watkins Glen just last year.
And shaking things up. I like it. One thing I like here, too, is the short track aspect. The race winner took the lead with 2 laps to go in 2 of the 3 races so far at WWTR in 2022 and 2024.
And the final green flag stretch at WWTR was last year. Last year was 92 laps. The other 2 races there ended in overtime.
2 out of 3 in overtime. Yeah, we're talking some exciting racing here.
Yes, indeed.
Now, Toyota's next win after Chase Briscoe picked up the win at Darlington, Toyota's next win will be their 200th in the NASCAR Cup Series, but the manufacturer has never won at WWTR.
Interesting. Okay, now Joey Logano finished top 5 in all 3 races at WWTR, including his win there in 2022. He's the only driver with top 10 finishes in all 3 races.
Ooh, you got your stats here for Friday with your preview show.
We sure do.
Joey Logano's average finish of 3.0 at WWTR is the best of all tracks. That's pretty solid. I don't know that you could get any better than that.
Austin Cindric's average finish of 8.33 at WWTR is the best of all tracks, his best of all tracks.
That's a lot of Penske there. Now, all 3 WWTR races were won by different drivers. Joey Logano, we mentioned in 2022. In between him and his teammate Cindric was Kyle Busch in 2023. And as mentioned, Austin did it in 2024.
Kyle Busch's last of 63 Cup Series wins came at Worldwide Technology Raceway. That was in June of 2023. He's now on an 84 race winless streak. Did you ever think we'd say that about Kyle Busch?
No, I knew it had been a while, and I knew it did go to WWTR. But yeah, when you break it down like that, that's rough. 2 of the 3 races at WWTR were won from the front row, including 2023 when Kyle Busch won from the pole. All 3 have been won from a top 10 starting position.
Also, WWTR is the only track Chase Elliott does not have a top 10 finish.
Huh. Wow. WWTR is also one of only 3 active tracks where Alex Bowman doesn't have a top 10 finish. We were just talking about Hendrick Motorsports stats at Darlington. This one's not looking so good either.
Not looking good, is it? Now, Denny Hamlin finished runner-up in each of the last 2 races at WWTR.
That looks a lot better. Now, the last 7 races of 2025 were each won by a different driver. So can we continue that streak and make it 8?
That would be very cool. Now, the driver leading the most laps won 4 of the last 5 races of 2025. So 4 of the last 5 races were won by the driver leading the most laps.
Now, here's an interesting tidbit. Chase Briscoe got his 11th top 5 finish of 2025 with his Darlington win last week, and he's tied for the most with Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin.
Interesting. Only 4 playoff drivers have finished inside the top 10 at Darlington, the fewest ever to finish top 10 in a playoff opener.
That one certainly was a shakeup when it came to the playoff drivers. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, they were all over the field there.
Now, in 5 of the last 8 seasons, the winner of the opening playoff race went on to win the championship 4 round.
Oh, that's an interesting one. I think a lot. I've even said it. I do think Chase Briscoe is a sleeper in this playoff.
But he shouldn't be. And I don't have the stats readily available. We kind of talked about it last night. Like in the last 8 races, he has been the top scoring driver. So yes, people are just overlooking him.
They are. They're underestimating. The largest point deficit overcome to make the round of 12 is 21 points. Chase Briscoe in 2024 and Clint Boyer in 2019, both after race 1 of the round of 16. So that's kind of an interesting stat too.
It is. I know we talk about that of having the mulligan if you need in the playoffs, but it is severely competitive. So yeah, you can't be getting too far behind. I think the 2 bottom drivers are 19 below right now. Now, in every season of the stage era, which started in 2017, at least one driver that was below the cut after the first round of the round of 16 was able to point into the round of 12. So that's good news for the 4 below it right now.
It sure is. Now, the largest gap above the cut to miss out on the round of 12 after the first round of 16 race is 26 points by Kurt Busch, and that goes back to 2021.
That's not the record you want to hold.
No, it's not.
Now, playoff drivers averaged 25.1s last week at Darlington, the fewest ever in the first playoff race. We talked about that, of 60 points available, and the average for playoff drivers was 25.1. That's not a good week.
It's not a good week. Now, no driver has ever finished worse than 25th multiple times in the round of 16 and moved on into the round of 12. Bell, Bowman, Shane Van Gisbergen, and Barry all finished worse than 25th at Darlington. So that tells you how tough Darlington was for the playoff drivers.
It was, and that was their mulligan for sure. Now, Shane Van Gisbergen scored 5 points at Darlington, his worst points performance in the last 18 races, dating back to Bristol, which was the final race of the round of 16. It dates back to Bristol, and that is the final race of this round of 16.
Yes, it is. That's the next race after WWTR. Now, Chase Briscoe, over the last 12 races since Mexico, is first in speed, first in average finish, 11th. His average finish is at 11. First in points per race, which is 34.7. First in top fives, which is 6. First in stage wins, which is 4. And first in laps led at 5:36. To your point, he shouldn't be a sleeper. He has been on fire.
Well, and this one actually took it back 12 races. So, yeah, that's even more impressive. Now, in 2 of the last 3 years, the second race of the playoffs was won by a non-playoff driver. Bubba Wallace did it at Kansas in 2022, and Chris Buescher did it at Watkins Glen in 2024. So this would be a year to have the playoff driver, but after Darlington, who knows?
Okay, 3 times the winner of the second race of the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs has gone on to win the overall championship. Jimmy Johnson did it in 2009 and in 2010. And in 2011, it was Tony Stewart. That's when he had those 5 wins after saying his team didn't deserve to be in the playoffs.
Yep, that 2011 championship will always be marked in history for sure.
Yeah, it definitely will be. Okay, so let's talk about the clinch scenarios.
Well, obviously the one already clinched is Chase Briscoe with that victory. When we look at points, if there's a repeat winner by a driver who cannot advance to the next round, drivers need to be 57 points above the 11th winless driver in the standings. Same points requirement would hold true if a new win comes from Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin, if he's not the winner, would need 56 points. Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, Bubba Wallace, William Byron, Ryan Blaney, Ross Chastain, Austin Cindric, Christopher Bell, and Chase Elliott can only do so with help. And that tells you how competitive it is. You're not just going to walk in.
It also tells you how bad it was.
Hey, they were all competitively bad.
Exactly.
Now, drivers could clinch on points if the win comes by Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, Bubba Wallace, William Byron, Ryan Blaney, Ross Chastain, Austin Cindric, Christopher Bell, or Chase Elliott. Then the list of those that need help are all of them. Hamlin, Larson, Reddick, whichever one it's not. They would all need help.
Yeah.
If the new winner from Shane Van Gisbergen or another winless driver lower in the standings, but still eligible to advance to the next round, they'd need to be 57 points above the 10th winless driver. And again, it's the whole list. They all need help. Like I said, now I have to look at the actual points here real quick. Any of the drivers, again, there's 16 of them. I've run through them multiple times. I'll just use the last names here. Hamlin, Larson, Reddick, Wallace, Byron, Blaney, Chastain, Cindric, Bell, Elliott, Van Gisbergen, Logano, Dillon, and Bowman, and Berry. And actually, that's only 15 because Briscoe is not on that list. That's right. Yeah. Let me see if I can find the points here real quick. When we're looking at it, again, Denny Hamlin at 2067, it's 40 points down to Van Gisbergen at 2027. That's 40 points, which again is mathematically doable in one race. Logano's 3 back. So all the way down to even the 2, Bowman and Berry at 2008 is just under. They're at that 59 points. So mathematically, they could do it in one, or catch Denny Hamlin in second in one race. The odds of that, probably not good, Again, Denny Hamlin would have to finish last, and they would have to win and max points. But mathematically, it's possible. So even with one race in, and you mentioned it seemed to be the fact that they were scattered throughout the field, most of them not doing so hot at Darlington, but the second race being that competitive and open.
All right. So very, very interesting here. Second race before the elimination race, which will be at Bristol next week. So I think the tensions are going to be a little bit higher, I think.
Most certainly, especially knowing that Bristol is another one of not quite as open wild card as, say, Talladega or Daytona, but certainly has its risk. And this one in and of itself, I know we talked about it a little bit last night on Hot Topics, and some of the stats showed it. I don't know if I'd say a Ford-favored track, but certainly leans heavily towards Penske. Joey Logano, I know what his stat shows, average finish at 3.0. That's great. I don't know that he's been having that type of year, though, to back that up again. But we go back to last year's race. Ryan Blaney had it, ran out of gas. Teammate Austin Cindric is the one that won it. There's two more of your Penske cars. So I would certainly have to kind of lean towards Team Penske this weekend.
So, yeah, they've got some big odds here for these drivers. And Team Penske is certainly represented. But they're not the only team that's represented. Toyotas are on here. There's one Chevy. In the top five drivers, they've got two Fords, two Toyotas, and one Chevy. So
Denny Hamlin has to be one of the Toyotas.
Oh yeah. Tune in on Friday, because Taz and I will be talking about it on Friday and giving you all the odds. So definitely watch for more coming. Jay and I have just completed the 2 race previews that are happening for this weekend out at WWT Raceway. And we've got the fantasy report on Friday with Taz and myself. And then on the other side of the weekend, we'll be back with all the reviews for those 2 races, as well as our NASCAR Hot Topic sound off. And there was a ruling by the judge on the injunction this today. So we'll have that to talk about, along with whoever's feelings were hurt at WWT Raceway.
You make that sound like a guarantee if somebody's feelings are going to be hurt, Sharon.
I think, especially with Darlington, there are drivers that are not going to want to make this 2 in a row. They've already used up their mulligan, and they've got to have a good finish. So I think somebody's feelings are going to be hurt when this is all said and done.
I think so, too. And you mentioned Hot Topics coming up Monday. Another one we're going to have to look at is NASCAR's looking at changing that fastest lap award.
Oh, they are
messing with the car. Yeah. Well, this past weekend, Josh Berry said it after his lap 1 incident, had gone to the garage, and we've seen Kyle Larson do this a couple times this year.
Yes.
Early problem, go in the garage, come back out and set fast time, laps down. Yeah, I think NASCAR is going to look at that.
Okay, I think that's a good idea. All right, so there's a preview for Hot Topics on Monday, but we cannot leave without telling you how much we appreciate each and every listener who tunes in to our videos and our Hot Topics live stream. So we really appreciate you guys. We had some interaction with a couple of people on Monday night, and we hope those guys return, and maybe a few more for us to interact with this coming Monday night. So, Jay, I'll look forward to seeing you on the other side of the weekend. All
right. Well, I should be good to go Monday, because this week I actually get back on sometime Sunday. So not quite as late a weekend as I've been having the last couple.
All right. And then I'll see everybody else, though, on the Fantasy Report on Friday. Take care, everybody.
Enjoy the weekend.